It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Kreekak, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Welcome in to We Talk Facts with 9-year NBA veteran and Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer Erick Strickland and 2-time Nebraska Football National Champion Clester Johnson. Talking and taking names in sports and day-to-day living. Sit back, relax, and join the show with 9-year NBA vet and Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer Erick Strickland. And 2-time Nebraska Football National Champion, Clester Johnson.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Once again, it is another WTF moment. But the only difference about this moment is we have shifted our time. We are now every Thursday. And you know what the day is? It's Thirsty Thursday.
Thirsty.
And we're here from 7 to 8.
7 to 8?
Six to 7.
Yeah, you guys were confusing me.
What's going on?
And
listen,
6 to 7.
He was rolling with me.
I'm just repeating what
he
he
was
said.
rolling with me.
We sorry,
6
y'all.
to 7.
6 to 7.
6 to, man,
6 to 7.
it's different because it's different from 8 to 9 and 6 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
But we are here, and Harrison, once again, is on the board, on the mic, and he is helping us handle all the business that we need to. We thank each and every listener for popping in, tapping in, chiming in. You can also do so on the Solder Heyman text line, 402-464-5685, but also on all streaming platforms. That is X, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube is where you can find us. We Talk Facts, WTF. Welcome to the show. Clester Johnson, how are you doing today, my friend?
I appreciate you. Thanks for the great introduction. Let me give it up to Harrison again. He makes our lives very easy here. He's the mix master. He's the non-procrastinator. He's the. I was going to add some more stuff, but I forgot. This is PG. This is a family-oriented show, so I got to taper the things that I'm going to say. But overall, I'm very happy to be here. I do like the earlier time. I do like that.
That's a fact.
I think we may be able to reach a bigger audience. Instead of putting the kids down night, school nights, now the whole family can, they can bring the 10 and 11 and 12-year-olds to come over and listen to us and be entertained.
Yes, that's an absolute fact. We again are appreciative of you after you had your dinner, had your meal, sat down, and now you have a chance to get into WTF. So the topic of the day we're going to get into some of the reasons, the top 3 reasons sports are important. The top 3 reasons sports are important. When we look at sports today, Cless, to be honest, when we were coming up, one of the things about the sports of the day was it was fun. I remember the days of just getting out and competition.
Yep.
Playing a lot of games. We used to have games called Smear the. We can't talk about that no more. But and just really competing until the sun went down, until the lights came on, and it was about fun. Even though we competed and we wanted to win, but yet it was still an element of fun to it. And that seems like now the times have changed, the game has changed a little bit. The game is still the same, but that's something to talk about. That's what we're gonna get into it.
Let's go to why we brought this up. A few weeks ago, there was a big game in Colorado. Colorado played Colorado State, and a kid took a nasty shot on a Colorado player. And this kid started getting death threats, right?
Yeah.
So as I converse with my man E, I go, man, what is sports to people, right? That just started to matriculate in my mind. And here are some of the things I was thinking of. So when I say, what are your top 3 reasons sports is important? Because some people go, man, some people take sports too serious, right? Some people say, man, it's just a game. It's just a game. Or is it? To a lot of people, it's more than a game. Some people, it's a financial thing. They see the financial gains. Some people see it as they're learning life lessons as they get involved, because you're working with, it's usually a multicultural thing that's going on sports teams. There are some people that I met from small towns when I was at the University of Nebraska that never grew up around people who looked like me, right? And they were able to develop a different thought process on who Blacks were. They grew up thinking a certain thing through the media.
Well, real quick on that topic, because one of the things I also can say that's different about the time of today than it was for ours. Like, for example, when we were both in college, one thing that we had the capability of doing, Cless, was interaction with some people that may have been boosters for the university. And I'll say there was a wonderful group, a wonderful family that I was able to engage with that was out in Geneva, and they had a farm.
Okay.
And it allowed me to be able to go out there to a different part of the state of Nebraska to interact and get to know them, but them also to get to know me. See, sometimes when they see you on the court, they see you on the field, they don't really have that closeness of interaction. And it allowed me to be able to meet the people also, not just the family, but the people. So I would go out there and I'd play golf. I got to drive in one of the tractors, right, that the big super honchos,
right,
and do some tealing and different things. Combines.
Yeah. Right.
I got to do that. And it was a beautiful experience because it gave me something that I had not been able to see and know. And that's changed today. You can't really do that.
Right. So my question, Eric, I want to know from you and Harrison, and if there's people out there in social media land, if you can answer this question, what does sports mean to you? Do we take sports too serious as a society, or is it just a game? Because I'm gonna tell you what, I see people break down after a loss and they are devastated for days and weeks. Hey, that's not just a game to you, right? Then you can factor in sports betting. Then you can factor in, we were just off the air, we were talking about all the fundraising that goes on for sports. It's more than a game.
Yeah.
It's business, it's social. There's a lot of things that go into it, but my thoughts on sports have evolved since I've gotten older. Like, obviously we grew up, it was about competition. It was about being the best. But then as I became a parent, it became about financial. Right.
Whew, my daughter played travel volleyball. That thing ain't cheap.
It became very financial. And then it became social, right? So now I go to games, I socialize, but I also want to see my son compete. I want to see my children compete. But there's a big social aspect to sports that I didn't grow up. I didn't deal with that. Like the tailgating and all the stuff that goes into it. Man, people pay serious money.
Oh, that's a fact.
To be involved, to do some of this stuff. And what is sports to you? Like, I'm going to tell you, there are some people, they would rather go to the game than go to church.
Right.
There's some people that were ready to go to the game than go to this wedding. There's people who, if you planned a wedding on Saturdays, that
trouble. Close your mouth.
Trouble.
And your funky boy. Yeah, that part.
So there's a lot of things that center around sports. So do we take it serious? Very much so.
Let's talk about it. One thing I want to ask you though, Cless, and I want to ask you, Harrison.
And we do have an answer from a text line.
Okay.
That's really good that I do want to get to.
Get it.
Because for sports, and again, 402-464-5685, the OG CJ says sports makes it real simple. Community, accountability, and passion.
Oh,
I love it.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, that was one of the questions I was going to ask because for me, right, I wanted to ask this question because sports did something for me similar to probably what the military does for others as well. It gave me discipline.
Mm-hmm.
It gave me a drive and a passion. It gave me accountability. It gave me a lot of different aspects of life. And it brought me around a group of people that I probably would not interact with, but yet fighting and striving for the same goal.
Mm-hmm.
What I find in life now today, and this is where we're going to get into also about some of the issues that are now happening in sports, is so many things have become tribal, meaning you finding people going into each other's corners. This is why you have in boxing, you have a red and a blue corner. And this is why when you saw the Errol Spence and the Bud Crawford fight, you saw so much animus amongst both sides, one in each quarter. And this is what the boxers were trying to say. The beauty of that moment was the fact that two supreme stars were able to come together. And why could we not celebrate this for the beauty of what it is? The competition of two greats coming together, win or lose on either side.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's what's been, has that been lost? That factor of it, like, is it more individualized or is it still team or oriented, where, guys who come from different places, different lands, different mentalities, and are able to come together and unite.
I got a question. I got a serious question. And if, like I said, if you're listening today, I really want you to chime in. I love your approach when you talked about the tribalism, because how many times when you look on the media and you see people fighting in stadiums?
Yeah.
Especially
and somebody just lost their life. Where was that at?
Yeah.
It was in
just recently.
Was it Michigan State?
I forgot what game it was.
Say that again. I was reading text.
There was a fight.
Somebody
there was a fight that just lost their life. Somebody. Patriots.
In the
Patriots?
NFL is the Patriots game. Yeah.
Somebody just lost their life in the stadium.
And also at youth games.
Oh gosh, that's crazy. That's why probably part of the reason I stopped reffing.
These youth games have gotten
out
of control.
I only ref 2 of those youth games, and that was enough for me.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's
right.
youth, and it's like, you want to watch all free throws? Like, it's at some point it's for the youth. And that's where my frustration comes in.
Right. So, we had talked about Aqib Talib and his brother, what had just happened recently. I've within the last year or two, they got into an altercation at a youth football game, and the brother, Aqib Talib's brother, came out of the stands and shot the opposing team's coach. And I just wonder, when you go to jail, you go through your court case, and obviously they put him in jail. I think he got 35 years. Do you sit in jail and think, man, that was a idiotic football game?
Yeah.
Like
I lost my life over.
Why did I do that?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And let me call out Husker fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
There used to be a time when Husker fans used to be perceived as the best fans in college football. We would clap for the teams, opposing teams, as they walked off the field. Why? Because obviously we just laid them smack down.
Right.
So it was very easy to clap for the team as they walk off the field. But now that the playing field has kind of been evened out some and we're not that dominant program, I've been able to see some nasty. I've been able to see some really nastiness.
Well, you got to see it because of your sons too.
That was magnified. I saw it before that, but even before I saw it, but when my son chose Iowa, like I can't even tell you how many people online don't like, oh, I hate Iowa. Like they really hate, like they detest Iowa. And it's like, so then you go, for what? Like what is it about the state or the team that causing you this animus that would make you want to risk it all online, right? Like I've never understood that part. Because if you do something really crazy, like go confront somebody, say something and they confront you, like people can lose their lives over stuff like that.
Well, and it's crazy. It's just even having a different jersey. I mean, the fact that I support someone and another team causes you that
it's
much
crazy.
anger and bitterness and wrath in you to want to come down on me because I support this other team. This is why I'm grateful, and I think I'm blessed that growing up military, I didn't have a specific team that I rooted for because I didn't have to deal with that. So the stance that I take on that is I actually root class for teams that I played, and it's based on the order of where I had the best experience. So, you know, I root for the Patriots, even though I'm not a big Patriots fan, but I root for them because I played up in Boston. I root for Mavericks because I played with the Mavericks. I root for the Cowboys, not because I like the Cowboys, but, you know, I root for them.
It's okay.
And whenever.
So Eric is just showing you right now, right? He's like, I don't really root for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't.
Because there's people out there.
Yes, die hard. When they say die hard, die hard.
But there's people out there that if they know you like the Cowboys,
oh yeah, they going in on you.
They think totally different than you. They're like, wait a minute, you know, it's almost like it's very close to almost like politics.
Politics in a way.
It's very sports is very close to politics in that if you're not on the same page with certain fan bases, they're gonna let you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they are willing to risk it all.
That's a fact.
To let you know.
So the question is then, you know, Harrison, are we in a space where people are taking it too serious?
I think a lot of it is, especially at the youth level, is where I think a lot of that kind of where it starts. You know, when you talked about with the travel league stuff, the money that kind of goes into that. And I think when you're kind of building that early on, that's all about money. And then the further you go, you just early on with the youth, you're already losing the sole purpose of it, just a game. You're supposed to have fun. So right off the gate, you got these youth already kind of getting the wrong idea of sports. Fans, you've seen it. People don't want to ref games anymore. So I feel like it's just early on, we kind of have that problem. And I do want to get to this text from 1976 because it's a great point, kind of again, referring to Strickland, talking about the expenses of travel ball. He says, great point. Pay-to-play aspect of youth traveling teams probably means sports is not cutting through socioeconomic status like it once did and ought to do. And again, I mean, that's huge. You said it, like if you have all these kids and the whole point is to get everyone involved and you can't even afford to get on some of these teams, I think that's where it just kind of keeps building up all the way to college. Just starts young. You know, we're not focusing on what it's really supposed to be even early on.
And let me tell you, real fast, because obviously,
then we're gonna have to get to a break.
I am a victim, and that's the wrong word. I'm not a victim of that. I've been involved with that. I am guilty. That's the word. I am guilty of that. It's almost like keeping up with the Joneses. I've tried not to be, but it's almost like you are forced into. Like if you want to compete on the highest level, you feel like this is what you got to do. And I'm not sure that's right. And I'm trying to figure out how do we solve that? You know, how do we get back to the purity of the game?
I don't know if we can put that toothpaste back in the tube. But we're gonna have to take a break. But one of the things I want to get into is the question of, is it for financial gain? And this is going to deal with a little bit of the NIL situation of the day and and just the focus of what parents are kind of, in some ways, are they living vicariously through their children? We're going to talk about that. We're going to take a quick break. Come back with WTF. We talk facts right after this.
General contractors, business owners, property owners. The success of your business requires doing business with the right people. And the right people, when it comes to drywall, acoustical ceilings, and specialty products, are at Premier Drywall. Kevin and his crew will give your project the response and attention it deserves.
You'll get all of the attention to detail and quality that you would expect from someone who's been in the business for 30 years. For your new builds, build-outs, or renovations, reach out to Kevin at premierdw.com. Premier Drywall in Lincoln.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
93.7 The Ticket has moved downtown, and you're invited to join us for new beginnings. Join us for our grand opening on Thursday, October 5th at 6 p.m. to celebrate our new space with ribbon cuttings and more. Raising Cane's will be on site to provide entertainment and prizes as we bring downtown Lincoln the newest hangout spot for its favorite radio station. It's 93.7 The Ticket's grand opening at the new 11th and O location, sponsored by Raising Cane's. Tune in throughout the week for more information on times.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Crecack, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Bud Seinhorst, President and CEO of LIBA, the Lincoln Independent Business Association. Join us every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket for the LIBA Business Hour, as we discuss local business and highlight those who are thriving in the Lincoln area. It's the LIBA Business Hour, Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to We Talk Facts on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Strick and Clester.
Oh yes, it is Thirsty Thursday. We Talk Facts right here. 6 to 7 will be the new landing time, is where you can find us right here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Strick, Sebo, and Harrison, the man, on the mic and on the board. Listen, we're going to get into the financial aspects of it, mentally for the child, as well for the children, the young men, the young women, as well as for the parents. And is this the driving force that pushes parents to vicariously live? Because I didn't get in. Boy, whew, Lord have mercy. If I would have been around during NIL, there would have been a different discussion. But I was blessed to still be able to play the game and to ascend to a higher level. Cless, let's address that. The financial aspects of it. Is it now come to a point where parents, from young ages, have a delusional mindset in some ways as to the full prospects of where their kids can go, and are they chasing dreams of grandeur? Are they chasing the NIL movement? What are they chasing today that's leading kids and young men and young women to kind of be at sometimes disappointed because they're not able to ascend to those levels that their parents are pushing them to?
One thing that I must say that's quite funny, and you'll understand when I say it, is when it comes to somebody's kids, you're not gonna tell me my baby ain't.
Oh, that's so true.
I'm just telling you.
I'm glad my dad was real. So my dad was real.
To me, that's the word of the day, right? Yeah. Is just being realistic. And I feel like you have to have somebody as a parent. You got to have somebody around you that you can be a sounding board for. Mm-hmm. And what we're trying to do is incorporate everything that we started off with, because we kind of started off talking about are we too serious about sports? Is it just a game, or is it more than that? So I wanted to kind of repeat that, and I think we really have the answer to it. The answer to the question to me is it's more than just sports now. But again, you got to have somebody that you can talk to and just be real honest about your child and what real goals are possible for your child. My
dad did that for me. My dad literally sat me down because I was going through a phase class around my freshman year. Mm-hmm. I had a dream, and I saw in my dream that I was literally going to play at the next level, right? And my dad, I was getting mediocre grades, but I was a smart kid, so he knew that I was smarter than what I was putting out. And I end up just telling him one day when he was talking about my grades, I said, "Listen, Pops, I'm going to the league. I don't need no school," And he sits me down like a real father, like a real parent, or a real guardian, or somebody around you in your circle should tell you. He said, "Do you know the percentage of those who make it?" Now mind you, this was a even smaller sample size. Right. This wasn't. I mean, this was the sample size today is larger than it was then, because we're talking international now, right?
Smaller rosters too, I think. At that point, so it was less spots.
D-League, all that stuff wasn't available like that. So that's the realism of what a parent. He sat me down, told me the percentages. It helped me to then shift my focus to the grades, because he said, "What happens if you tear your knee? What happens if you can't play? Mm-hmm. What do you have to fall back on?" That helped me to turn my decisions as to how I handled myself and taking care of that school.
My question is it about education? Because we do use the word student athlete, right? Is education a facade for sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
it's pros in the college realm now. Like, are they more so mini pros?
Right. Well, I do know that I went to school with some real serious athletes who they cared about their school, and now there are doctors. I know quite a few of them that are doctors. You got your Rob Zaddis, because you got your Money Christos. Like I've met some guys that they went to school knowing
fullbacks.
Fullback. Oh, Macavickas. Both of them. One's an attorney. One's has all these
therapy,
PT clinics. Therapy, yeah. So, I'm not going to sit here and say that not all players are there just for the sport, but I think a lot of it has to do with economic background. Where you come from and what kind of upbringing you have, what kind of influences guidance was in your home as you come up. Like, are you using this as truly as an education to springboard your life in the future, or is it for the here and now, and I need to get this money? I'm telling you, in the youth, there are a lot of families like that, that their kid is the next So it is serious. Like sports is serious. So that's why I think you see a lot of these fights at these youth games. That's why you see in these referees and these, officials are they going through it because this thing is serious.
To the parents.
It is serious to the parents. You are denying my child the appropriate look, right?
All right.
You are denying, like, I be having to tell these parents they're not giving scholarships at 5th grade, right?
Right.
There ain't no rankings in the paper for this game right here. Like we are just having a good time and making sure these kids are having a good time.
Yeah. Like for example, it can work. It can also work to the negative, right? I'm appreciative as to how at this point we'll see another year hopefully and get a more of a sample size of how Shador is handling the situation at this point, right? But there's one that can work to the negative. For example, there's a kid by the name of Mikey Williams who he's driving around in Lambo trucks and he's living in his own house in high school and now he's potentially dealing with a potential case that can put him in jail and literally miss out on everything. So if he didn't do anything with what he was able to get, and it was basically by way of social media influence, so there's a lot of social media influence guys, like for example, Seven Woods and guys like that who ended up going to college, but couldn't make it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sebastian Telfair, if social media was around when Sebastian Telfair was around, Lord have mercy, his NIL and his big money deals would have been huge, but just wasn't able to transcend. So sometimes, does it work to the negative of the kid? Does it kind of put them in a more of a complacency mode? Do they get content with the moment and the time, and then they lose that opportunity?
So the quick answer is yes. Okay, absolutely. The focus is off. You got the whole hood.
Well,
you got the whole community telling them you're the next one, right? The person that we can really point to is LeBron.
Yeah.
When you look at LeBron, he obviously was smart enough and had people around him to say, hey, listen.
That's a key component right there.
You got to have the right team of people around you who are going to be real with you.
Yeah.
Right. That's number one. You got to be real. So that's what I would say to families, right? You got to have somebody outside of your home.
Right.
That's willing,
unbiased,
who's willing to be honest with you and to give you an outside, get an outside look into, who their kid is and hey, are we viewing this right? Are we doing this right? I mean, what do you think? You got to find somebody, y'all, because if it just stays inside, I mean, I think the numbers of people who didn't make it, you don't get a chance to hear about them, right? We only see the Kobe Bryant stories and the Kevin Garnett's and the LeBron, like those stories are magnified because these people are so great, right?
Yeah.
But there were hundreds of thousands that were, for every LeBron, there got to be 2,000 to 3,000 that were opposite of that. But you don't get a chance to hear about it.
This is why you see the numbers. I wish I had them in front of me. I did this. I talked about this at some point. This is why you see in the transfer portal that a great majority of them, either they don't go up, they barely go horizontal, and a lot of them end up digressing. I'm just going to give a quick example, i.e. Dakotas Crawford.
Yeah.
Who, Big Ten, Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
Jumped in the portal.
Yep.
Thought he was going to be able to go down.
And
so that happens a lot.
It
where
happens.
Your delusions of grandeur sometimes trick you to jump in and do something. And you see it with quarterbacks. You see it all over the board. That's the situation.
Okay, real quick. I know we got a quick night tonight. We're going to have to do a quick pivot and just give a quick thing on Michigan versus Nebraska.
Yeah, we got 50 seconds.
What's your score?
Michigan, I think because we're not able to score, and if we can't move the ball, I'm looking at 31-7.
I think the Huskers going to play tough at home. My predictions have been great. I got a good feeling that we're going to make them sweat a little bit. I think it's going to be close. I'm going to say 28-14.
Yeah,
Okay.
same here. I think they sweat in the first half, but pulled out 21-34, Michigan.
Okay.
There it is. We talk
28-14,
facts.
yes.
We talk facts.
We
We
talk
laid it
facts.
out for you today. We'll be back next Thursday.
We'll be longer next week.
6,
Thanks
7.
for chiming in.